a brand new season.
You're listening to Arkansas Preps Weekly on Natural State Sports, your top source for the biggest news in high school sports across Arkansas.
Here we go.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on episode 10 of Arkansas Preps Weekly. Alongside the baseball guru, Mr. Kevin Bohannon. My name is Kyle Sutherland. We appreciate you joining us on this. Well, I guess it's our second to last episode of the season. So, got the state tournament this week. Of course, had the regionals last week. We'll recap the stuff from last week and then talk about the state tournament. But Kevin, as Jared and I talked about, we, for the most part, got past all that crazy weather last week. And as we record on this Monday morning, we've got the East baseball that's going to finish up. And then we've – hang on. Oh, wait. What was it?
One game.
Yeah, one game. Yeah, exactly. One game. Sorry, I had you turned down. Normally I have me turned down. Yeah.
Yeah, half a game.
So
Bottom
we've got
the third.
Yeah, bottom of the third, and then we've got the softball consolation round, and then which I'll be covering that one, and then the state, the finals, the regional finals between Brooklyn and Bauxite. So, yeah, got through all that, and then of course it's just one that gets thrown in there. It's always something, it seems, but weather is looking a little bit better. Knock on wood as we get now, not necessarily during finals weekend for now, but. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just need to soak in the last bit that we can since it's almost over.
That's right.
But I want to remind everybody before we get started, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you have not already, hit that notification button so that way you can find out whenever we release an episode as soon as it does come out. We'll be doing stuff into the summer, and then, of course, once we get into closer to football, we'll do that. But we got stuff going on every single week. So you can subscribe both on YouTube and the audio versions of podcast. And also, too, can't forget about our friends at Athletic Field Service of Arkansas. A properly graded infield is not only important for player safety, but also the field's health. No company in the state can match the exceptional service and dedication like our friends at Athletic Field Service of Arkansas in Sherwood. From infield renovation, lip removal and edging, mound rehab, laser leveling, and much more, Jeremy Rice and his crew have you covered. Call Jeremy at 501-416-1218. That's 501-416-1218 for your free evaluation and consultation. You can check them out on Facebook or see what else they have to offer by searching Athletic Field Service of Arkansas online. Athletic Field Service of Arkansas. We got the dirt on your infield. Let's hop into it here in Class 6A. Kevin, we've been talking a lot about Bryant, and rightfully so, over the past probably about month, and it looked like that they were going to be the central champions for sure, at least just the way they were playing. And then Conway got the sweep, 4-0 and then 6-2 to earn the top seed in the state tournament. So the Wampus Cats take an 8-game lead and a top seed, or 8-game consecutive win streak and a top seed into the state tournament. As they say, don't let the Cats get hot.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of 2022, and I put that out there. Sean Cover, super sophomore, and then Drake Naylor combined for a no-hitter in last week's first win over Bryant, which is a 4-0 win. And then, they come back later in the week. They were down to Bryant early, came back, won that one, and just put it away. So Coach Leighton Harden, that's a group of – and they're mixed. They got a good group of vets. Satterfield been there for a while, but you got Max Holland catching. Cover, of course, is a sophomore. They got a good young group. And then Bo Billick, of course, is a 2025 University of Louisiana commit. So, Conway, they're set up in the Central. So we'll go through the matchups and everything through 6A and 5A. We've got all the state tournament brackets filled out, with the exception of that 4A East 1 and 2, be Robinson, Lone Oak. So 6A, you got Rogers on the top. They're going to play Catholic or Bentonville. Bryant will play the winner of Fayetteville and Central. Conway will play the winner of Harbor and Jonesboro. And Heritage will play the winner of Cabot and Bentonville West. And Kyle, last year it was all West all the time, no matter what. I don't see that happening this year. I think the Central has caught up a little bit in terms of at least the top 2 or 3 teams. Now, Central can give Fayetteville troubles because they'll throw Luke Lawrence. Luke, of course, signed with the University of Central Arkansas. But Fayetteville should win that game. Harbor should beat Jonesboro. Jonesboro's they're a few years away. They got a lot of young talent, but Harbor's just experienced. They won it last year. I think that should be a win for Harbor, but you never know. Cabot should handle Bentonville West. Just Cabot's on that trend down right now. They did finish strong, finished 11-3 in the Central Conference. So Catholic and Bentonville is kind of the wild card. They're the star game for the first round. It's a 4 versus a 5. Bentonville, of course, has been there the last 2 years in the championship game, and Catholic's got seniors that need to go out on a high note after being no-hit in the first round last year by Fayetteville.
I'm looking at Rogers Heritage. I know that 2 years ago, the first season that we were doing this podcast, that was when they got really hot, and they were kind of I guess you could say the Cinderella team, made it to the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. Right now they're a 2 seed, and they were undefeated up until, a few weeks ago. How do you see them faring? Like you said, Cabot, you mentioned they had kind of gone backwards. Bentonville West has been streaky. I know they come in as the 6th seed. So not saying, a guaranteed win or anything like that over Rogers Heritage or for Rogers Heritage, but do you see them making another deep run after they hit a little bit of a skid, if you could even call it that?
Yeah, and the couple of their losses were in extra innings. They did win a few of those earlier in the year. 2 of them against out-of-state competition and 1 in-state. So I think, excuse me, they got the pitching up to do this. So whether it be the Askews, Parker Morris has to find the strike zone. Excuse me, Wichita State signee. So I think they cut down on the walks. Yeah, they're going to be there. And last 2 years they did, because last 2 years they've been in the semifinals. 2 years ago they upset Rogers. And that was 2022. I get my year. All the years are running together now, Kyle. But it was last year that they 2 years ago they upset them. So I think they can. Conway, that Harbor Conway, man. Can you think about the second round matchup? Those 2 teams. I don't know if I was Dustin Helmkamp, I'm not throwing Ross Felder in the first game against Jonesboro. They should be able to beat them with their number 2. Honestly, you have to. If they get in trouble, go to him. But that's just as good as a 3 versus a 6, in my opinion. Not taking anything away from Jonesboro. They're just not there yet. Harbor is. Harbor was a game out of second place. So looking forward to that Harbor-Conway matchup in the second round, possibly.
Then in Class 5A, I was looking really forward when we were talking about it this morning, just mentioning the notes from the 2 biggest classifications, and I started looking at this. I was so focused on regionals last week that I completely forgot that Greenwood, about a month and a half, we're talking about that they are pretty much the favorite without question. They don't even make the state tournament. Mountain Home gets in on that 4 spot, the 4 seed. Of course, Russellville, we talked a good bit about them, how they got hot. But Mountain Home, they were swept by Russellville on April 11th, and then they got on a roll, clinched that 4 seed. So is it Greenbrier that got I know Greenbrier and Russellville finished for a tie in the first, and then Greenbrier got the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and our good friend Mark Buffalo made a point on social media the other day. Look, if 2 teams have the same record in a conference, they tie for the conference championship. No matter what the seeding is, what the head-to-head was, records say you have a conference championship. So Russellville won a conference championship in the West. Greenbrier won a conference championship in the West. Seeding rules, tiebreaker, Greenbrier beat them by more runs. I think it was 4 runs that they beat them by, and then Russellville only beat them by a run. So Greenbrier gets the virtue of getting the 1 seed. Now, how does that set up in the grand scheme of things? It puts a lot of talent on the bottom side of the bracket in Class 5A. So let's just look at the bottom side real quick. Valley View is going to play BB. Valley View should win. I hesitated about calling this the Valley View Invitational, honestly. I didn't want to make waves out there, but it should be. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think you and I are the most honest people out there in terms of telling it like it is. So, okay, yeah, it's theirs to lose. All right. They play the winner of Russellville and Sheridan. That's going to be a good matchup. Sheridan almost did not make the state tournament. They were down 5-0 last week to Arkansas High / Texarkana. Came back 1-7-5, so they get the 3 seed. Little Rock Christian plays Batesville. Little Rock Christian, of course, is number 2 in our Super 7 rankings, but they're my pick to get upset in round 1. Why? Mark Brissy for Batesville.
Okay.
Arkansas commit 2025, threw a no-hitter last week against Nettleton. So that's a tough matchup for them. And then the bottom, you got Benton and Van Buren. Those two teams know how to get to a semifinal and know how to get to a final and win it. So you got a lot of talent on that bottom side of the bracket. Looking at the top side, Lake Hamilton, they're our Cinderella team in terms of look where they are versus look where we projected them to be. Okay, they're 22-3. They set a state record They set a record for wins in program history with 22. And they get Mountain Home. They get a really hot Mountain Home team. So you're going to get Easton Hurley, who has over 100 strikeouts and 60 innings. That story in itself we've talked about, and I've talked about in the Democrat Gazette. Sylvan Hills and Greene County Tech, those two are very familiar with each other. So you could get a Sylvan Hills Lake Hamilton round 2. Greenbrier plays Lakeside. That'll be a closely contested game. Coincident enough, those two schools were coached by Garrett Bach, who's now the head coach at Bryant. Coach Bach's done great things at Bryant this year, but he left Lakeside and Greenbrier in great situations. Lakeside's doing really well this year. They went on a hot winning streak for a little bit to put themselves in position to get in the state tournament. And then the matchup of the first round, Marion and Maumelle. These two teams, of course, have been in the top 4 at one point or another this season. You're probably going to get Cohen Bumball from Marion and Tag Andrews from Maumelle. Could be a 3-2, 4-2 ball game. Whoever gets the hits at the right time is going to win that one. And, Maumelle, Peyton Lee's pitching like he was at the beginning of the year. He did against Little Rock Christian. Errors killed them in that game. Maumelle could win the top half. Even being out of the rankings the last couple of weeks, they could win the top half. Not saying that they will, but as a 3 seed, they get past Marion, look out.
Then down in Class 4A as we get into the regionals. So a Conference 1 team did win the North Regional, just not the one that we expected. Now, the 1 seeds that came in, Shiloh Christian out of the 4A1, and then, of course, out of the 4A4, it was Morrilton. And then Prairie Grove, they got hot. They were the 3 seed, just absolutely smoked Mena and Ozark, and then beat Morrilton 6-3 in the finals. And so just showing a lot of the craziness that we've touched on and off from that Region 1 conference.
Yeah, that was Ozark upsetting Shiloh was the upset of Thursday, of round 1. Now, we had 3 overall. Monticello beating Nashville, Ozark over Shiloh Christian, and then Southside B Branch getting upset by Poen in Class 2A. But 4A really got turned upside down this past week. So if we would have gone back to last week at this time when we're getting ready, and we look at the bracket, we said, the one in the South would have likely been Nashville. They didn't even make the state tournament. They got beat in the first round by Monticello. Magnolia, who was the number 3 team, they were the number 2 team out of the 7-4A. So check mark right there. Brooklyn's going to play Farmington in the first round. Farmington finished second in the 1-4A district. They finished 4th in the North Regional. So Brooklyn, of course, they didn't make it past Robinson in the semifinal round, so they get a good draw for Brooklyn. I like their chances to get to the semifinal, but Magnolia's playing really well right now. I like the Panthers, 20 wins on the season. The one from the north we thought would be Morrilton, hands down. They had lost 2 games all year, 1 to Marion, 1 to Brooklyn on the same weekend by less than 2 runs on each. Prairie Grove beat them 6-4 in the 4A North Championship game. So Prairie Grove, congratulations to the Tigers. We had them outside looking in because of inconsistency this year. I mean, let's be honest with you. You drop some early games, but they're getting hot at the right time. So they're going to play the winner of Cross-eyed. That's about how I am right now looking at these brackets. Cross it and Southside Batesville. Southside, of course, won their first round game on a balk. That was a lot of fun, to be honest with you, against Clinton last week at the East Regional at Robinson. So that's the top half of the bracket. Bottom half of the bracket, the number 1 team from the East will be decided at 5:30 this evening at Pulaski Academy. It changed fields once again. Robinson's too wet, so they're going to go play at PA, that brand new facility. Robinson is up 4-1 on Lone Oak going into the top of the 4th inning. They'll play the winner of Morrilton and Warren. Morrilton, I feel for Morrilton. Honestly, I do. I mean, that's just, if Lone Oak comes back and wins, great. All right. They'll be the 1 seed. But Robinson's playing well right now. They're hitting. They were lighting up Trip Sullivan before he, went out of the game, and they got, rained out. So you could see a Morrilton Robinson or Morrilton Lone Oak matchup in the quarterfinals in the round of 8. And those 3 teams have been top 3, top 4 all season long. So, and that's, of course, if Morrilton can get past Warren. We don't want to discount Warren. They did finish second in the 8-4A this year. The 2 seed is the Monticello Billies, who were the 4th place team out of the 8-4A. They got in via a tiebreaker over Hamburg. They finished 7-5 in the 8-4A this year. So Monticello Billies, you get the golf clap of the weekend. Coming out, finished second, getting a good win over a really good Warren Lumberjack team, 9-8 to get to the finals. Then you, of course, got Bob Magnolia. They'll play the winner of the 2 team from the East, the 2nd team from the East, which will be Robinson or Lone Oak, and then the Ozark Hillbillies. Shout out to our man Porter Hayes. Ozark came in as the 4, upset Shiloh. Ended up, they beat Farmington 9-0 in the consolation game, Kyle. That was a shocker. They beat Farmington, they curb stomped them 9-0. So 4A just got turned on its head last week in the regionals, which is something that we expect this time of the year.
Before we head down, and this is probably going to release right before the Robinson Lone Oak game is completed, but just putting you on the spot here, since we're in this position, we don't know the results at the time we're recording. If Lone Oak does indeed lose, and I'm singling them out because they've been number 1 all season, they're the defending champions. Will a loss help or hurt them in your eyes?
Helps them.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Of course, I haven't watched them to the extent that you have, but that's what I was thinking. It usually, in a lot of cases, losses this time of year, when it doesn't end your season, does give you a little bit of a kick boost, but
it gives them an easier draw too. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
I'll be honest with you, I don't. They win, they get that extra bye, but nothing against the Hillbillies. I promise, guys. I'm not talking bad about you here, but Lone Oak's going to beat them in a round 1. 9.5 out of 10 times. Ozark could catch lightning in a bottle and knock off another number 1 team. So, and then they'd have Monticello in the second round. So you throw Engle or Eves in round 1, then you got Engle or Eves in round 2 against Monticello. Then you get to the semifinals. You got Sullivan, Spears, Dyer. Pick your poison. I want to see Lone Oak win 3 in 3 days, though. I want to see them win 3 in 3 days to get to a state tournament. I mean, they didn't have to do it last year. They just pretty much ran over everybody. It was, run rule, shutout, on to the next one. So I think they need it this time. It'd be a good test for them. Those seniors want to go out on a high note. So, publicly, while I'll never come out and cheer for one team over another, I'll never do that. Those guys, they've played hard, and just like everybody else this time of the year, they want to go out on a high note.
And before we head down to 3A, I want to remind everybody about our friends at Athletic Field Service of Arkansas. A properly graded infield is not only important for player safety, but also the field's health. No company in the state can match the exceptional service and dedication like our friends at Athletic Field Service of Arkansas in Sherwood. From infield renovation, lip removal, edging, mound rehab, laser leveling, and much more, Jeremy Rice and his crew have you covered. Call Jeremy at 501-416-1218. That's 501-416-1218 for your free evaluation and consultation. And you can check them out on Facebook or see what else they have to offer online by searching Athletic Field Service of Arkansas. Athletic Field Service of Arkansas, we got the dirt on your infield. Class 3A, the regional winners just throttled, Kevin. I mean, Boonville's exploded. Well, they're on like a 19-game win streak. They beat Charleston 20-1. Yeah, something crazy. Beat Charleston 20-1 in the final. Walnut Ridge, They edge Cave City, edge Harrisburg each by a run, then just thump Rivercrest in the finals. Harding Academy, even though Harding Academy and CAC have been 1-2, it's not surprising that Harding Academy won that in pretty convincing fashion. And then Genoa Central, who's been good all year. They won the regular season, was a 3A7 conference, and came in as a 2 or 3.
Haskell Harmony Grove, yeah.
Or Haskell Harmony, Haskell Harmony Grove, and then Genoa Central came in and just ran through that with authority.
19-5, yeah, over Haskell Harmony Grove. So that sets up some pretty interesting matchups in round one. So if you look at the bracket, let's do some bracket analysis real quick. Bottom half of the bracket has four teams that were ranked in our last Super 7 poll, including CAC and Elkins, who get to face off against each other for baseball, just like they did in football, but this time it's round one. So a little bit of payback right there. Top half of the bracket, you got 3 teams, Harding Academy, Haskell Harmony Grove, and then Rivercrest. So let's look at the top of the bracket. Harding Academy is going to play Paris. A little bit of history with these two teams. Was it 2 years ago? They faced off in the semifinals, and there was a writer for Paris talking about the privilege of Harding Academy.
That guy was a loser.
Yeah, guy went off. I mean, Harding Academy went absolutely berserk against Paris, and Duke Walker was in that game. Went on to, I think he's still playing college baseball. He never went to Missouri, but on to the next one. Haskell Harmony Grove and Gosnell. Big matchup in the first round. Those two teams, of course, ranked all. Gosnell ranked all year. Haskell Harmony Grove playing well of late. They did get smoked 19-5, like we mentioned, by Genoa Central. So that's the matchup of the first round in Class 3A. And then Booneville won their first regional since 2017. Shout out to my man Glenn Parrish for getting us that information. So looking forward to seeing how the Bearcats do. They're set up. Penguin is going to be tough. Cade Rowland, younger brother of Luke Rowland, who's pitching at Austin P right now. Cade's real similar. Sidearm, low 3/4, real nasty 2-seamer, frisbee slider. So look out for Pangburn. It's going to be a good matchup in round one. And then Rivercrest and Bismarck. All right, so I talked to Coach Cade Beckwith from Bismarck. They got in the state tournament via 1-0 win over DeWitt. That was huge for them. So junior Lucas Chapman struck out 18 in that complete game win over DeWitt. DeWitt, of course, they started out 8-0, wanted respect, wanted to be ranked. They got ranked, and now they're done. So that just goes to show you that, look, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And these matchups matter. So Chapman's fastball, 86-88. He's one of those guys that's why we do this show and why we do what we do, because nobody knows about Lucas Chapman and striking out 18 in the first round of a regional tournament. And nobody knows he's throwing 86-88. Now they do. So hopefully, he gets on radar of schools right now. He's going to end up pitching in college. So Bismarck, they'll be tough on Rivercrest round one. Rivercrest is walk prone. They are error prone. So if Rivercrest wants to get back to the state finals, they're going to have a tough road to hoe with Bismarck and then possibly Booneville in the second round. So going to the bottom half of the bracket, Genoa's got a tough draw. Harrisburg, the Hornets, they're playing good ball. They're the 4th seed out of that 2-4A up there in the northeast part of the state. CAC and Elkins should be a good first-round matchup. You'll get Caleb Hankins versus probably Caleb Cook on the mound for CAC. Grayson Wilson could throw. Wilson did throw against Harding Academy a couple innings, got touched up pretty good. So CAC is going to have to find some offense and real quick against Elkins. I'll tell you that right now. Walnut Ridge gets to face off against Harmony Grove, Ouachita County. Congratulations to the Hornets. They won their first-round matchup. Mason Morgan got this complete game shutout. Caleb Johnson hit another home run. They won 6-0 over Glen Rose. And then the wheels fell off, Kyle. They got it handed to them in the semifinals in the consolation game. So For doing that, getting to the state tournament, you get Walnut Ridge, who's 27-4 on the year and just won 16-1 over Rivercrest in the regional final. So that's going to be tough for them. Good luck, guys. Charleston, Mayflower round out the bracket. Charleston, kind of upstart, second place, third place in their conference. Now they get the 2 seed out of the regional. Mayflower is going to be, they've been tough at times this year, but I do like Walnut Ridge to get to the semifinals out of that bottom 4 right there. But that top 4 with Genoa, Harrisburg, CEC, and Elkins is going to be tough.
So I got a comment and then a question as we wrap up 3A. So going back to Booneville, we've talked about Dax Goff, the Iron Man that he is in football, going to play for Harding University, the defending Division II national champions. He, if I'm not mistaken, he threw a complete game Thursday, then caught the next 2. I saw this from his mom's Twitter. Caught the next 2 and then compete. I don't know how he did, but then competed on Saturday in the state weightlifting tournament.
Yeah.
Just if that kid doesn't define Booneville, I don't know who does. If you have anything to say about that, and then I'll ask my question.
Yeah, it's watching him doesn't surprise me, and I've called him Superman the last few times I've talked about him because he is. The kid goes about his business, does his job, and gets out there and he wins. He got 8 home runs on the year. He's over 20 for his career right now, hitting over 500, and he's leading that team. Jace Washburn is going to be good for them. Booneville has the talent to get to the semifinals. I hate that they're on the same side as Harding Academy because I think Booneville started out the year, I had them ranked. Then they lost like 5 straight, but they hadn't got everybody back yet, had some injuries. So, end of the year, that they're here where they are, and they're one of the top teams, and I think they can get to the semifinals. Everything breaks their way.
And you mentioned Harding Academy. That was going to be my question. And that's, I guess this is the best time of the year to ask it now that we are at the stages of win or go home. Can anybody stop them this year, or will they win 4 straight?
Yep. And they can be stopped. Bentley Hawks, they didn't throw him till the CAC game in the regional final. So they got Hoover. Kanan Harris he had like 7 total bases one game. They're hitting the ball well. And this is Shane Fullerton gets his guys ready to peak at this time of the year. And they always do, Kyle. That's when you talk about culture and a process and running a program, that's what Shane Fullerton does. And he gets his guys ready to play at the right time of the year. They play a tough schedule throughout. They can't help where they are in conference. They're going to move up next year. They're going to move up to 4A, which will be good for them. I think they'll compete for a 4A title. So, they got a good draw right now. I think they play clean baseball. And you play clean baseball at the 3A level, you're going to win. And they've got the talent to do it this year. Bentley Hawks has come on as a proven ace when they didn't have at the beginning of the year. So, Kyler Hoover on the mound, Bentley Hawks on the mound, that definitely gets them to the semifinals. Then they can out-hit you if they don't have any arms left. But back to Dax Goff. He finished 3rd in the 199 to 220 pounds behind Creed Vega from Dardanelle and Walter Hicks from Benton. Benton, of course, won their 6th straight state weightlifting title. But here were the combined weights: 295 on the clean, and then 315 on the bench for a 610 total for Dax Goff, who finishes the bronze medalist in his weight class for the state weightlifting title.
And just a note, Walter Hicks and Creed Vega are both going to play college football. Exceptional athlete. Yeah. Yes. They are dudes. So I know that Dax would probably be like, I got 3rd place. Yeah, whatever. But losing to those 2 guys is nothing to shake a stick at. Walter Hicks he's going to be a senior next year, and he's got like close to 300 tackles in his career. Yeah, they're both Creed and him are exceptional athletes. So then heading down to Class 2A, you touched on it earlier, talking about there were 3 number 1 seeds in baseball, 3 in softball that were upset in the first round, and that was the headliner in the 2A Central was Poen upsetting host and top seed Southside B Branch. And Kevin, they got to the final round, and what was it, through 4 innings? It was like 5-4 or 3 innings, something like that. Bigelow put a 7 spot on them, and that was the end. But you got to tip your hat to them.
Yeah, Bigelow comes out 14-4. And Bigelow almost didn't make it to that final game because they were down 5-3 in the semifinals to Cedar Ridge. So let's take you through this. So we had a walk. We had a hit by pitch winner with Brooklyn and PA on Thursday. We had a balk winner on Thursday with Southside over Clinton. Well, we had a pass ball scored 2 runs in the Bigelow Cedar Ridge game. So 5-3. It was 3-3 going into extras. They go to the 9th inning. Kyle Province, who was the starter for Cedar Ridge, reached his pitch limit, so they had to bring in another pitcher. Aiden Jones, of course, had already thrown in the first round, so they had to go, further down the bullpen, the depth chart there. Couple of walks, hit, error. I mean, I think Boonville may not have gotten a hit in the 9th inning and scored 3 runs. So they scored, tied it or made it 5-4, and a pass ball. They scored from third, scored from second, while Rhett Newmeyer was at the plate. Go figure, Coach Newmeyer's son. So Bigelow wins, and Bigelow's playing well right now. They've won 17 or 18 straight. They lost their first game of the year, and I think they're 17-1 right now, or 18-1. So they've won 18 straight, longest winning streak. Up there with Boonville in the state, no matter what classification. So, but Poe and the Indians, man, 4 seed, and you upset Southside B Branch. This was the regional last year where Sloan Hendricks upset Bigelow in the first round. So you had a lot of crazy stuff happen. So Episcopal had Cedar Ridge beat, had the last out in a rundown, and Episcopal, the players spiked the ball, allowed the guy to score, then they scored the winning run. So my man Eddie Stevenson, the Episcopal, they played hard all year long, just didn't have the dogs to do it this year. So Cedar Ridge is in. So let's look at the bracket. McCrory, they won the North. The Jaguars, great outings on the mound. Will Rushing, 10 strikeouts in the opening round win. They'll play Sloan Hendricks. Sloan Hendricks is a little down from last year, but McCrory will play likely the winner of Greenland and Washita. Washita, of course, finished second in the 8-2A to Woodlawn. So Greenland right there. They almost didn't get out of the first round either. They were down 5-0 and scored 9 in the bottom of the 6th to win their opening round game. So Greenland, McCrory, possible second round matchup. Bigelow and Rector, 2 teams that have been ranked just about all year long. Rector, of course, had a rain out, came back, couldn't get past McCrory in that second round. They lost 12-2, and then they lost to Riverside 3-2 in 9 innings in the consolation game. So Rector is a very tough 4 seed. If there was going to be a 4 over a 1 in Class 2A, Rector over Bigelow could be it, but Coach Newmeyer really likes his guys right now. He says, they're coming together at the right time, so don't be surprised if they can make a run. Murfreesboro will play Lifeway Christian in the 2 versus 3 matchup. So Bigelow, Rector, Murfreesboro, Lifeway Christian. Bottom half of the bracket, you got Mansfield, Horatio. That'll be a good matchup. That could be a possible 4 over 1. Then you got Palestine Wheatley and Cedar Ridge. This is the matchup of the opening round in Class 2A. Both teams, of course, made the semifinals last year. Palestine Wheatley beat Episcopal to get to the final. Cedar Ridge lost to Woodlawn. Cedar Ridge will throw Aiden Jones, Kyle Province. They'll do everything they can to get past the Patriots, but that'll be a good matchup in that first round. Woodlawn has Mountainburg. Woodlawn's 31-1, Kyle. They've won 31 games, and it doesn't surprise me anymore. I'm trying to get Tommy Richardson to tell me his winning percentage, but he doesn't tell me, which doesn't shock me at all. They just go about their business. All had a big week. He's got 43 RBIs on the season right now. So the machine just keeps rolling along. And then they'll play the winner of Poet and Riverside. Riverside, of course, came into last week, ranked number 2 in Class 2A. Now that the 3 seed gets to play Poet in round 1. And you could see a Woodlawn Riverside matchup in round 2, which would be one heck of a matchup in the quarterfinals of Class 2A.
I'll tell you, it'd be really fitting just with the games. And I know that I was thinking originally when we were talking our group text the other night, I had thought that the Rector Riverside games were all really close instead of just the consolation game. So I think that would be an interest. You mentioned Rector possibly upsetting Bigelow, and I was just going through some of these here. But I'll ask you the same question about, just since Woodlawn's been the dominant one, Harding Academy's been the dominant one in 3A, can anyone stop the Bears this year?
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't see it. Honestly, they're too complete of a team. Now, you could get to the finals and something could happen, but I don't see anything happening. Riverside, they're going to have to fire their bullets to get past Poen, just because Poen's a scrappy team. But Riverside does have the depth. I just don't see it. If it does happen, it's going to be there. I don't think it'll be in the state finals. But if they were to get clipped, I could see Riverside do it in the second round. But I just don't think it'll happen right now.
And last but not least, in Class 1A, of course, in this class, I've got to ask you about Taylor, and that's the first one that we always start off with, and that's the biggest one now is, can anybody stop them, the Tigers, just like it is in softball? But I'll let you answer this, but it seems to me, just looking at regionals, that St. Joe might be the one to do that, if anybody can right now. Just looking at them, they tore through theirs. Yeah.
I was going to surprise you and say, yes, there is a team that can do it. And St. Joe's definitely can. What they win 16-2 and then something, and then they beat Nemo Vista 8-0. When you have your ace that can go in the finals and he throws a 2-hit shutout 8-0 and beat Nemo Vista for the third time this year, yeah, they're going to be good. So shout out to the Mineral Springs Hornets. They made the state tournament for the first time in 65 years. 1959 was the last time. You're going to hear a lot of superlatives this week with teams making it. Going back to Class 6A, it's not relevant right now, but North Little Rock didn't make the state tournament for the first time since 1990. That was right when they were combining everybody, Old Main, Northeast. So the first time in 32 years that North Little Rock won't be in the state tournament. But on the opposite side, Mineral Springs makes it. They finished second in the 7-2A to Mount Ida. That may be a team that is missing off the list right now because Mount Ida did get beat in their first round game by Hampton, I believe. So, looking at Class 1A, Taylor, they get Bradford in round one. That's going to be a walk in the park for them. Jasper and Norfolk, the Party Crashers, they get Jasper. Norfolk can win that game, so you could get Taylor and Norfolk in round two. St. Joe's will roll over Mineral Springs. Then Armorale, the Tigers, got to the finals of the regional, lost to Westside Greers Ferry 2-1. So Armorale's playing good ball right now. They get Ozark Catholic in round one. So you could get a St. Joe's Armorale matchup in round two. That would be a good matchup. Westside Greers Ferry has County Line. That shouldn't be a problem. Bearden and Midland. I put a star by them. They're kind of the matchup in round one. Bearden gave Taylor some trouble in the finals. I think it was 6-2 or 6-4, something like that. So Bearden's tough because they played Taylor all year. They know what good looks like. So Midland, of course, there were some other people out there that there's another rankings that gets put out there. But to get exposure on high school baseball, they had Midland ranked high because Midland won 20 games, whatever. But they finished third in a regional, in a weak regional at that. So I think Bearden can beat them. They'll beat Westside. They'll meet Westside Greers Ferry in round two. Scranton and Hillcrest. Hillcrest, of course, tied Armorale for the conference title in their conference, but Hillcrest fell in the face, get the 4 seed. Now they get the Scranton Rockets. Scranton won the 1-1A regional. Then Nemo Vista and Hampton rounded out. So Scranton, Nemo, round two. Nemo Vista's got a good draw to get back to the semifinals, but I think Westside Greers Ferry is the deepest team on the bottom half of the bracket. So you get Westside. They don't have St. Joe's to deal with. Westside Greers Ferry could get to the state title game under Shane Davis and have a shot to play Taylor or St. Joe's.
Well, 40 games in the first round on Thursday will start, and we will definitely try to cover as much as we can of that. I know, Kevin, you did a great job, and we were able to stay consistent just talking about, or I guess posting some of the scores from the regionals, and we're going to do the same as much as we can within our power for that, for state, and then really just trying to get past Mother Nature at this point. For the most I would say overall we were pretty blessed throughout this season. Now lately it's been a little bit worse, but I feel, and I don't want to jinx anything, but I feel a little bit better about this week than I do the finals. Hopefully some stuff will move out. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. This is one of the best times of the year.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm gonna get as many places as I can. Of course, there's no state tournaments in Central Arkansas. We did not mention the host sites, so I do apologize for that. So Class 6A will be up in Bentonville. Bentonville High School is hosting. Class 5A will be in Harrison Parks and Rec. 4A is in Gravette. Yep, Gravette Lines. 3A is in Hot Springs / Prescott's hosting. So Majestic Park will host that. Class 2A, help me out, Kyle.
Palestine Wheatley / Forest City, yeah. I believe.
Yeah. So Palestine Wheatley will host. I knew that. It's where I got my buddy David Coleman is the UIC there. And then Class 1A is Westside Greers Ferry, and they will split their fields between Heber Springs High School and Westside Greers Ferry. So that was another thing. Westside Greers Ferry field advantage, really big for the Eagles. Going to try to get up there, get over to Palestine Wheatley, depending on matchups, and then get down to 3A at Hot Springs at Majestic Park. So a lot of good matchups. This time of the year, of course, last year we saw it in Class 3A with Rivercrest and CAC. You know, what Coach Elrod talked to us about, okay, you can finish a game at night or you can come back the next day and play. And they were able to throw one of their guys that they knew that could beat CAC at that point. So should be a lot of fun, and hopefully Mother Nature holds off. We get the Robinson Lonoke game in tonight. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to be. I might be the last 2 years for the previous company we were with. I basically just stayed at home and covered everything remotely. But my parents have a lake house at Greers Ferry right down the street from Westside. So I'm thinking about maybe sliding up there and dropping my daughter off so they can get some time with her. I might go down to Hot Springs. I don't know yet. I'm kind of trying to decide that myself. But either way, definitely catch up with our stuff. It's at Coach Cabo Baseball Guru is your Twitter handle?
Yep, Cabo Baseball Guru.
And then I'm at K_Sutherland SUTHERLAND AR. So we'll be posting stuff throughout the state tournament. And then, of course, naturalstatesports.com. We'll probably have something up this week. I know that I'm going to write at least one deal. Probably maybe some recaps of the regionals. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that's where our written content will be. That's where our final Super 7 rankings will be after the state finals. So, and then you can also next week catch our state finals recap that Kevin and I have done over the past couple of years. And also want to remind you one last time to subscribe on YouTube if you're watching there. Hit that notification button, and also on the audio platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and be sure and leave us a rating. 5-star would be great. If not, let me know before you leave one so we can try to make it a 5-star. But other than that, that will do it for episode 10 of Arkansas Preps Weekly. For Kevin Bohannon and all of us here at Natural State Sports, my name's Kyle Sutherland. We will catch you next week.